Do you keep wondering what is or are the professional attires that you should be wearing whenever you are in a business meeting? Tapos nako-confuse ka ba kasi nakikita mo parang hindi consistent yung sinusuot ng mga tao and you don't know what you should wear? Stay tuned because I'm gonna be talking about that next. Welcome back mga fashionistas and fashion-forward individuals. Wait a minute. Kailangan ba when we talk about professional attires for business meetings and transactions, dapat ba ay fashionista ka or fashion-forward? That, ladies and gentlemen, ang pag-uusapan natin dito sa vlog na to. I'm going to be talking about professional attires that you should be wearing for business meetings. So whether it is a business presentation, a sales pitch, a client call, or heck, even a job interview, ganun ka early on in your career, it is very important that you know what are the proper and appropriate professional attires that you should be wearing into that particular meeting. Kasi, personally, I noticed a lot of people, medyo mali yung sinusuot nila, but this is what I realized, no? Kasi in hindsight, wala naman talagang nagturo. I mean, come on, can you tell me that when you were in college, somebody actually told you what you should be wearing for an interview? As in, down to the specifics na paano mag-color match, pattern match, ano ba dapat ang length ng pantalon, ng palda, etc. There was none, at least not to my recollection. Okay, I went to UST High School. I remember the closest thing we had to something like that was before RJS prom, where they taught us lang how to pin a corsage. Saka, well, it was mostly table or dining etiquette primarily because yung JS prom nga would revolve around a lot of eating at the table. Okay? So wala talaga yun yung dapat ba ganito kahaba yung medyas, dapat ba naka-tuck in, dapat ba naka-untucked. Word for the day, hindi po yun tuck out. Please, ladies and gentlemen, dear Filipino friends, let's please strike that out of our vocabulary. There is no such thing as tuck out. Mali po yun. So, tuck in, ang opposite niya ay untuck. Okay? So, yung mga ganung bagay. So, not a lot of us are aware of that because we were never really taught formally. Okay? So, ngayon, pag-uusapan natin yung mga yan. So, what are the guidelines in terms of, let's be a little bit more broad, in terms of professional image, which would actually contain or encompass professional attires. Okay? So I have taken the liberty of coming up with an acronym. Ang dali-dali ng daan ito. And the acronym is AURA. So A is for appropriate. W is for well-groomed. Letter R is for respectable. And A is for appealing. Okay? So isa-isahin natin yung pag-aura. Okay? So let's start with letter A. So appropriate. Okay? The keyword here that you need to remember is appropriate. Okay? So, kumbaga, ano bang ibig sabihin ng appropriate? Dapat proper. Dapat, ano bang Tagalog ng appropriate? Akma. Lalim. So, akma, tugon, naaayon, yun yung Tagalog ng appropriate. So, meaning, yung suot mo, it has to be appropriate to several considerations. Like, sino ba ka-meeting mo? Diba? Kung ang ka-meeting mo ay CEO, a foreign diplomat, a high-ranking official, yun ang dapat consideration mo in terms of ano dapat ang suot mo. Baka dapat hindi ka masyadong kumaswal. Okay? Kasi nga, very important person or VIP ang iyong imi-meet. Okay? Or you could also take into consideration the circumstance or particularly the event. Okay? Ang pupuntahan mo ba, at saka yung environment or the setting. Okay? Ang pupuntahan mo ba ay isang regatta? Regatta, yayamanin. O kaya, is it a cocktail na gagawing al fresco? O is it going to be an evening event or a midday event, a morning event? Magdedepend din doon ang isusuot mo, not just for, at saka yung minsan sabihin din nila kung minsan thematic ang kanilang mga event, di ba? Kunwari, costume party, ganyan. Last maka-Halloween, di ba? So, kailangan mong i-akma, okay? Or to make sure that you're appropriate to the circumstance, the event, the time of the day, and the location or the setting. Okay? Kasi magmamatter talaga yung isusuot mo dun sa mga. I mean, can you imagine going into an outdoor yacht cocktail? Yayamanin na naman. Nasa yacht kayo, cruising kayo. Tapos, nagsuot ka lang ng very light linen material if you're a guy, or if you're a female, nagsuot ka kunwari ng tube na gown, ay baka ginawin ka dun, di ba? So, importante yung alam mo yung mga ganung bagay so that you know whether your attire is appropriate or not. Now, W is well-groomed. Okay, so, strictly speaking, yung well-groomed, hindi siya part ng professional attire. Okay, pero kasi, ang ganda nga at saka appropriate nga yung outfit mo, ang baho naman ng hininga mo, di ba? Okay, or meron kang body odor, ganyan. O kaya ikaw yung like ang sinasabihan na, mahangin ba sa labas? Meaning, ang gulo-gulo ng buhok mo, di ba? Your hair's unkept and you don't groom it properly. Tapos meron kang mga buhok-buhok na lumalabas dyan sa ilong mo. Okay, or dito sa tenga mo for that matter. Okay? Or naninilaw masyado yung teeth mo because of nicotine, too much smoking. Okay, yung mga ganon, no? Tapos yung kuko mo, your fingernails actually are really dirty. Tapos ang haba pa ng isang kuko mo dyan. Diba? Jeepney driver lang. Okay? So, importante din yung well-groomed ka. And when you say well-groomed ka, kailangan yung pag tinignan ka, you look like this was a look na talagang pinag-preparean mo. And by preparing, it starts syempre with your overall hygiene. Okay, it works and it goes with your professional attire. So that is well-groomed. Now, letter R is for respectable. The keyword or the root word is respect. Now, just like trust, which is earned, respect also in terms of how you present yourself is also something that you cannot just command or demand. You need to actually earn it. Okay, so how do you earn respect? Paano ka magiging respectable in terms of your professional attire? Okay, napakasimple lang nun. Siguro ang isuot mo, hindi lang siya appropriate. Dapat ang itsura mo din. I don't know if you've heard it before, yung wow, kagalang-galang. Kapag ang itsura ng kagalang-galang, hindi yun binabastos. Okay? Kasi nga, as the adjective or description suggests, kagalang-galang. Yung itsura mo, parang hindi ka gagawa ng masama, re-respetuhin ka nila. Okay? So later on, I'm gonna be showing you some pegs or outfits that you need to consider in terms of that will consider respectable. Tapos, ano pang another look at yung respectable? Dapat pag nag-outfit ka, hindi ka mukhang katawa-tawa. Okay? I guess, i-connect ko yun dun sa appropriate. Okay? So, you need to be able to dress properly, appropriately, so that it is worth respecting. Now, the last A is for appealing. So, ano naman yung appealing? Yung may appeal. Kumbaga, yung pag tinignan ka nila, parang hindi nila inisip ng bato, wala naman itong ka-taste-taste, ang bakya-bakya, Diyos ko, ang jeje, yung ganon. Okay, and mind you, I'm not talking about being fashionable or being a fashionista or wearing brand names na mga outfit. Okay, ang sinasabi ko lang dito, pag sinabing appealing, kailangan yun nga, done in good taste yung outfit mo. Nako-connect pa rin ulit doon sa una, which is appropriate, tapos ko-connect din siya doon sa R, which is respectable. So, wear something na kapag tinignan ka, parang you know, you were well thought of. The attire or the ensemble that you wore to let's say an event, okay, was well thought of. And hindi yung parang pagbukas mo lang ng cabinet mo, biglang humugot ka lang tapos sinuot mo lang siya lahat. So, yun yung ibig sabihin ng appealing. And again, it does not necessarily mean na ang appeal ay nakukuha sa brand or sa pagiging fashionable. It's all about being appropriate and respectable. Well, now let's talk about what are the proper attires that you should be wearing. So, hahatiin ko to. Meron akong for males and for females. Hindi ko na i-discuss syempre dito yung, of course, the gender spectrum has already blown out of proportion na ang dami ng mga pronouns and ang mga outfit. What I'm saying here is in terms of professional attires, meron kasi tayo pa rin sinusunod na dapat na standards and conventions for outfits. So, meron ako kasing naging isang heated debate with someone saying na ang isa daw, I believe, a transgendered person na biologically male wanted to come to the office wearing a blouse and or a dress, and she was prohibited from doing it. So, ako naman, I'm in agreement with the freedom of expression all the way. Okay? But again, yun nga kasi when you're part of an organization, tapos ang organization mo kasi ay hindi pa ready for that kind of lifestyle or for that kind of freedom of expression, wala ka talagang magagawa, at least not for the time being. Okay? So maybe, it's not a matter of who's right or wrong, it's a matter of the right fit. So humanap ka ng kumpanya na, or trabaho na who is open and willing and accepting of the lifestyle and the freedom that you actually are looking for. So, I will not discuss about that. Ang sa akin lang, yung conventional and almost always yung mga nasa standard or norms of HR policies in terms of dress codes when it comes to professional attire. Let's talk about the tops. No? Ang kailangan sinusuot ng mga lalaki at the very least ay long-sleeved shirt with collar. Okay, and even more appropriately, mas maganda kung nakasuot kayo ng blazer. So it could be a sports blazer, it could be a formal or dinner coat. It really depends on the situation or the circumstance. But ang pinaka-baseline yun nga ay long sleeves. Okay, and occasionally it may also be more appropriate or required to wear a tie. Okay, so long sleeves and tie. Tapos baka wag mo nang lagyan ng blazer pag naka long sleeves and tie ka. I mean, there's nothing wrong with going full on formal. So long sleeves, necktie, and then a coat or a blazer. Okay, but like what you see me wearing right now, appropriate and sapat na itong naka long sleeves ka underneath, and then you also have a blazer that is on top of your long sleeve shirt. That's for the men. Okay, and again, preferably long sleeved shirt unless otherwise or explicitly said or stated na pwede kang magsuot ng short-sleeved na let's say a polo or a polo shirt. Okay? Pero naturally, pag naka-short sleeves ka, huwag ka mag-necktie kasi hindi ka naman piloto. Diba? Oh, that's for the men. Okay? And for the women, a blouse for your top. Okay? So a blouse, preferably something that is not too plunging in terms of the neckline. Tapos, it could also be a long-sleeved blouse. Okay, it could be a long sleeve blouse with a collar. Okay, and for those who do not wish to wear a top with a collar, you can actually also wear women's blazers. They actually come in different shades, styles, and designs that you can choose from. So yun ang formal. Okay, or ang tawag dun actually ay business chic. Now let's talk about yung bottom wear, right, with the men. Ang lalaki, kailangan, syempre, nakasuot ka ng office pants, which are usually slacks. This could be cotton, twill, this could even be chinos, okay, to a certain extent. Pero kasi ang chinos, okay, or maybe khaki pants, okay, they're a little bit gearing towards the casual mode, okay, na hindi naman din bawal. Again, basta nga dapat lang appropriate. Okay, so pants, slacks, okay, meron yung appropriate length. Ang pants mo dapat, ang length, may tinatawag tayo na hem. Okay, may hemline siya. Kailangan yung dulo ng hemline mo ay tumatama doon sa at least the tip or the top of your shoe, or if it would go way beyond your shoe tip, kailangan nandun siya sa bago mag heel of your shoe depending on the cut of your pants. That's for the men. Okay, tapos sa babae naman, pwedeng naka-pants. Okay, so sa pants wala siyang required length per se. Sa mga babae, actually okay lang ang bitin, or pwede rin sa kanila yung flare, otherwise called the bell-bottom pants. So boys, huwag kayo mag-shoot ng bell-bottom. Wala na tayo sa 1970s. Okay? Ano pa? So if you don't like wearing pants, women, you can actually wear skirts. Ang skirts, kung ang lalaki may length na requirement ang pants, ang babae, meron ding length na required ang kanyang skirt. So ano yon? Ito yung sinasabi nila na knee length, but we need to be very specific about that. Where exactly in the knee area? Kailangan ang iyong palda, ang iyong skirt ay up to 2 inches. Actually, maybe even up to 3 inches above the knee. Okay, so anything higher than 3 inches, that is quite questionable to some organizations and standards already. Now, anything below the knee, that is acceptable. So, bahala ka kung gusto mong umabot hanggang sakong, okay? Or gusto mo may train ka pa. Hindi, sana wala ka na lang train, diba? O, yun yung for skirts and pants. Now, what are the bottoms that are not allowed to be worn by either men or women? Denims, okay? Jeans. Ang mga jeans ay hindi allowed generally for professional attire unless in some companies, let's say on a Friday, may tinatawag na dress down Friday or laundry day. Okay? But usually from Mondays to Thursdays, okay, or yung regular work time or work days and hours nila, hindi talaga allowed ang denims. Okay? Most leggings for women are not allowed. Any kind of lousy looking pants are also discouraged to be worn in terms of the bottoms for men and women. O ngayon pag-usapan natin yung sapatos, yung shoes, no? Kapag ka ikaw ay pupunta sa isang business meeting, kailangan, this is for both men and women, your footwear needs to be closed-toe and with a heel. Okay? Hindi ka pwedeng naka-flats. Okay? Kasi kapag naka-flats ka, that is already considered casual. Okay? So again, kung casualan lang naman ang pupuntahan mo, okay na yung naka-flats. Okay? Ang sapatos ng babae, well, let's start with the men para consistent. Okay, yun nga. So closed-toe, malamang, hindi ka naman pwede mag-open toe, lalaki ka, diba? So closed-toe, tapos yung heel mo should have at least half an inch of a heel. okay, yun yung suot mo. So, siguro, may nauuso ngayon yung, ano nga yun, letter B nagsa-start eh. So, merong nasa inner ang heel para dun sa mga gentlemen who are actually a little bit shorter in terms of height. So, pwede naman yun. No? So, siguro hanggang yung kaya mo yung heel. And speaking of hanggang kaya, for the ladies, it is recommended to have at least 1 to 2 inches of heels and maybe a maximum of 3. Kasi anything above 3 na stilettos, that might be a little too dangerous. So, ina-allow din actually ang pumps, yun nga, stilettos. Now, speaking of footwear, hindi dapat nagsasocks ang mga babae. The closest to wearing a sock to a woman would be to wear foot stockings or stockings per se. Okay, so yun yung for women. Okay? Ngayon, sa mga lalaki, hindi kayo dapat na nagko-komando sa paa. Okay? What do I mean by that? I mean, you've seen that on TV, on fashion spreads, in the runways, that people are, men specifically, are actually not wearing socks together with their formal slacks and their formal dress shoes. Okay? Kaya lang, that's actually not appropriate when it comes to work. Okay, unless you are working for a creative industry, maybe as an artist, a director, a marketing and PR firm, okay, na hindi nagpapakita, na nangangailangan ng individuality, okay, you stick with the standards, which is you should always be wearing socks. Okay, kailangan may socks. And ano yung mga kailangan nyo tandaan in terms of socks? No? Ano yung guidelines? Your sock, men, should reach at least the lower part of your calf muscle. Okay, so anything below that, okay, especially yung mga just around the ankle or dun sa sakong mo, hindi yun appropriate. Okay, so you should never wear socks that will expose certain portions of your skin, especially when you sit down and then your pants actually go up. Okay, so ano pa? Do not wear white socks. Kasi si Michael Jackson lang ang pinayagan magsuot ng white socks with black shoes. Okay, pakain na siya. Pagpahingahin na natin yun. Okay, so ano ba dapat ang guideline for color matching? Easiest to remember is your shoes, your socks, as well as your belt should belong in the same family. Okay, when I say in the same family, kailangan, hindi naman necessarily exact shade. So, kunwari, naka chocolate brown ka na shoes. Okay? Tapos, ang socks mo, pwede kang maybe light chocolate, okay, mocha. Okay, tapos pwede kang ang belt mo ay a little bit orangey or na brown. Okay? So, yun lang yun. No? Kailangan, meron siyang continuity. Okay, ngayon dun sa socks, pwede ka pang magsuot ng may pattern. Pwede naman. Okay, those are sometimes called argyles, those with pinstripes, among others. Okay, so pwede naman yun. Pero again, yun nga, make it appropriate and nothing too outlandish or loud. Okay, so siguro stay away from neon orange or screaming yellow, yung mga ganun. No? So, siguro maybe subdued would be the best bet for you. Now, since I've already touched on the belt, let's also talk briefly about accessories. So, accessorizing. Okay? Ano ba ang guideline for accessorizing? Wala namang hard and fast rule. But the guideline here, or something that will give you an idea is, merong minimum. It is recommended that you should not be naked in terms of accessories. Meron kang at least one. So, whether you're a male or female, ano yung one na yun? Pagka lalaki, ang minimum na accessory mo ay ang watch. Okay? And when we say watch, the recommended watch should be metal. Okay? Metal-faced. Tapos, ang kanyang body ay pwedeng ito nga, like what I'm wearing, metal din siya. Tapos, pwede rin ang leather. Okay? There are also some watches that come with fabric straps, okay? And in terms of being professional and being formal, try to avoid wearing plastic or rubber sporty watches. That's for the men. For the women, ano ang bare minimum na one? These are your earrings, okay? Ang mga babae, dapat may earrings at hindi lahat ng earrings are allowed, okay? You should be wearing ano yung mga preferred or recommended. Pearl earrings, studs, diamonds, okay? You can actually also have hoops or dangling. However, hindi kayo pwedeng magsuot ng hoops or dangling that go beyond your jawline. So, anything that goes past this, ladies, you should not be wearing that. Okay? So, stick with studs and pearl earrings to work with it. And then, how many ba ang dapat na maximum for men and women? For the men, maximum should be 4. Okay? Ano yung 4? So, watch. I'm wearing a ring, so that's 2. I actually have a statement bracelet. Okay, so that's 3. Okay, so wala na akong pang-apat. Okay, so pero pwede pa ako magkaroon. Let's say, for example, I want to put a necklace. Okay, so pwede pa rin yun. Okay, pero the thing here is you don't have to maximize all 4, gentlemen. No? Hanggang isa lang ay allowed na yun. Okay na yun. Okay, let's go to the women. If men is 4, sa babae ay 5 to 6. So ano yun? So watch, ring, earrings, bracelet, necklace, and a double of any of these 5 except the watch. Hindi ko may dalawang watch. Ano trip mo? Diba? So pwede kang may dalawang bracelet, meron kang an extra earring somewhere, so pwede ka ring may dalawang necklace, or others might want, if it's seen, you can actually wear an anklet for the women. Okay? So yun ang minimum and maximum accessories of men and women. And with all that, with the right attire and following our guidelines, Aura, A-W-R-A, you should be all set to go and meet with that important client or prospective employer. But of course, okay, aside from just looking great, you need to also have something to offer. Ako nga, lagi kong sinasabi, you can get by on charm for the first 5 minutes. But after that, there better be something in between your ears. And I'm not talking about your eyes. So you can also improve, of course, on your communication skills, on your self-esteem, on your confidence, and your product knowledge and other competencies, etc., etc. But that's for another vlog. So we will talk about that maybe some other time. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the end of this quick vlog on professional image and specifically professional attires for business meetings. Okay, I hope you learned a thing or two about this topic, and if there are any future topics or subject matter that you would like me to talk about, please feel free to share it, write it in the comment section below, and I'll get to it and record it sooner rather than later. So from here in Orion, Bataan, I hope that you are all safe, happy, healthy, loved, and looking like $1 million. I will see you in my future vlogs. This is VJ Bentong.
If you like this video, please click like, share it on your social media, and if you haven't yet, click subscribe and that bell.